I'm here with the winner, Derek Lewis. Derek, why'd you take your pants off?
My balls was hot.
I understand.
Supreme victory.
First thing I want to do is give a shout out to Nick Lentz for defeating Gray Maynard. I'm kind of cool with Nick on Twitter. He's actually aware of this whole stuff that we do, watches a lot of people that I associate with and whatnot. He's a pretty chill guy, conservative, and of course he gave a shout out to Brett Kavanaugh.
First and foremost, I want to give out a shout out to my homie Brett Kavanaugh. Way to go, Special K.
Special K, man, really? Now I'm going to talk about the three most exciting fights. So the first one is Derek Lewis versus Alexander Volkov. Derek Lewis, an extremely entertaining guy, so we were expecting for something to happen, and he delivered 100%. I could even say 110%, even though that's not like a real thing, but you know what I'm saying. Volkov won round 1 and 2. He was whooping on Derek, and Derek was kind of like, I think, just trying to hold back. He didn't want to risk anything because we know that Derek Lewis isn't the most skilled fighter. He's just a powerhouse. If he hits you, most likely you're gonna get knocked out because he has so much power behind his punches. And that's exactly what happened in round 3 with like less than 20 seconds to go. You always see fights, right? You always see fights where you're like, oh man, this is the last round. He has to do something because he's lost all the other rounds. You always see stuff like that, and usually nothing happens. It's like, oh damn, maybe next time or something like that. But he legitimately delivered. He got it done and just shocked everyone. It was such a clean, it was such a nice knockout. It wasn't sloppy at all. It just looked so pretty. It is like, it couldn't have gone any better as far as entertainment goes in that fight. Now let's move on to the co-headlining fight, which was fight of the night for a lot of people, Anthony Pettis versus Tony Ferguson. Now I'm sure a lot of people know Anthony Pettis because he's done a lot of highlight reels. He does a lot of flashy stuff. We all know about it, and he's a good fighter. He's really good, obviously. And Tony Ferguson, I think a lot of people sleep on him. He is really good. He is so versatile. He's always switching it up. He's always just on you, and he's so entertaining. And just like he says, he likes to talk a lot of shit, and he also likes to dress well, and he's like, everybody's copying me, like I'm the original. But then other people just kind of took it to 1,000, like Conor McGregor, obviously, you know, stole everybody's hearts, and he just really skyrocketed. And Tony's like, yo, I'm the real deal, like you should be paying attention to me. And I totally understand. This fight between him and Anthony Pettis was phenomenal. It was such a wild fight. You can tell, like, especially when it comes to Pettis, like he loves to fight. I mean, he loves it so much that when he got cut open, like he was like, there was like a rush, like this is like, yes, this is exactly what I want. This is exactly why I'm here. And I'm just like, holy shit, because you know that it takes a special type of person to want that, you know, like most people do not want to get their ass kicked. They don't want to get hit. They don't want to fight and stuff like that. Even somebody like me that really enjoys like training, hitting a bag or whatever, like as far as getting pummeled and stuff and getting cut up, I'm like, it's not for me, bro. It's not for me. Unfortunately, the fight only went to 2 rounds because Pettis broke his hand, and his corner and himself didn't really feel like continuing. It wasn't a good idea, and which is smart. You don't want to do more damage. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to think about the long run. You got to think about, this isn't a championship bout or anything like that, so you don't have to give it 100% to try to capture the belt and be on top, you know? It's okay. You can live to fight another day. It was a phenomenal fight. It was incredibly entertaining. So much blood. It was an absolute bloodbath, and I look forward to those guys fighting again. I hope they fight again because that was just so entertaining. And I think a lot of people are starting to understand. It's like, hey man, this is what MMA is all about. Like that type of shit, man, switching it up, the intensity. I think a lot of people that are just casual fans are like, damn, fuck, I get it. And now for the main event, and why most of you are probably here, Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Conor McGregor, which is a huge fight. It was the fight that a lot of people couldn't wait to see because Khabib absolutely just dominant, you know, 26-0 going into this. We all know how good Conor McGregor is. He has an impressive record too. I think it was at 21-3 at the time. And so we know the Notorious versus this guy that is like, how do you stop this guy? How do you stop Khabib? And we're like, who's gonna take it? Who's gonna take it? Obviously, a lot of people were saying Conor's gonna do it. Conor's the absolute shit. And I'm like, guys, I don't think you realize how dominant Khabib is. Like, this guy is absolutely incredible. And we saw that tonight. And there's the controversy that happened. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but I just want to talk about the fight a little bit and say that I wasn't surprised how it went down. I was the only thing I guess I can say I was a little bit surprised about is I thought that I kind of thought that Conor would have had more of a plan to try to defend Khabib's grappling and his ground game, because we know that's where it was going to go. We know that's where Khabib absolutely dominates and just pummels people, and just he's relentless and people can't figure out what to do. And we were thinking like, all right, so Conor's been training his ass off. I wonder how he's going to get this done. And Khabib is just way too damn good. He's just way too damn good. I don't really take anything away from Conor, because I'm sure he really did train his ass off and he probably worked with the best of the best, and he just couldn't get it done because Khabib is one of those fighters, you know, sometimes those people come around and they're just so absolutely phenomenal that you don't really have an answer for them, to where maybe you can get lucky, catch them in a slight weakness and maybe just tag their chin. But Conor couldn't get it done. But I will say the first round, Conor did do a decent job defending. Like, he really didn't expend that much energy, and you can tell, like, say as the rounds went on, like Khabib wasn't as like strong. He was a little bit slow. He definitely expended a lot of energy too, trying to get things done earlier on. So Conor held on as long as he could, but he was just getting worked. He got worked and worked. He was just getting, I mean, he got knocked down. It was just kind of a one-sided fight for the most part, and obviously Conor was incredibly disappointed. But the most disappointing thing in the night is after, you know, Khabib won, he just couldn't contain himself. Now, we all need to remember that there's always a lot of emotions and adrenaline going through during a fight, before the fight, after the fight, especially when you win, and then there's that much beef and rivalry going on. So it's not that I don't understand why Khabib did what he did. I don't like what he did. It disappointed me, but at the same time, it's like, it's not like he was thinking clearly, because he just, there was so much shit going on that it going all the way back to Khabib fucking with some of Conor's camp, and then Conor coming back and smashing that bus like a fucking retard, like just the stupidest thing that you can do. And, you know, all that messy BS aside, then just the more shit talking, and it just got to Khabib, and he jumped out of the cage, and then he attacked Dylan Dennis, and then some of Khabib's camp jumped in the cage and then attacked Conor. And it's like, oh my, what are you guys doing? You know, like, at the very least, I think it would have been like, Khabib, attack Conor. Like, Dylan's out there, whatever, he's talking shit the whole fight, I get it, but that's to be expected. I mean, during the post press conference, Khabib was saying something like he apologized, but he was also like, oh yeah, you know what, I shouldn't have done that. But at the same time, he was talking so much shit. They were talking about my family, they were talking about my dad, they were talking about my religion, and I'm like, dude, are you serious right now? Like, that's expected in any sport that you can really imagine. Anything that has any type of combat in it, any type of like physical sport, there's shit talking, there's trash talking, and usually they go about talking about your mom. So it's like, oh, why would it be any different to talk about your dad? And of course it would be, oh, are you a Muslim? Are you Jewish? Are you something like that? They're gonna find an easy target and pick on you. Hell, they might even say some pretty racist stuff that, you know, gets swept under the rug. But it's not about that they're actually racist. It's about getting under your skin. And it clearly worked on Khabib. In the press conferences, he acted very cool, calm, and collective, like none of it was working, but clearly it worked. Clearly he was pissed off because he fired off and he just screwed that up. And who knows, Dana didn't put the belt around him because he thought like everyone was going to get pelted by a bunch of drinks and stuff like that. He was more worried about people getting, you know, the crossfires, getting caught in the crossfires than, say, Khabib getting hit. Because obviously he was going to get hit a little bit going through the tunnels, but they're like, we're not putting the belt on. I'm not putting the belt around you because you screwed up. We got to just get you out of here so then people don't riot. And things got contained pretty quickly because, I mean, God, it looked like it was going to break out into an all-out riot. It could have. It had the potential, but they had so much law enforcement there that it got contained pretty quickly. So good for them. But it was just one of those crazy things, and it got a little bit emotional for a lot of people. I got a little bit emotional because I really respect Khabib. I thought that, man, just imagine if he walked out with his head held high, and just with the championship around his belt, and he's like, I told you, like, where's all that shit talking now? Boom. It would have said infinitely more than attacking some of Conor's camp or anything like that. It would have said infinitely more. It would have been so much better. So it was really an unfortunate slip up for him, but you know, like I said, he's human. Emotions got to him. It was a really big moment for him. I get it. I do. Hopefully, I really hope that he doesn't get stripped of the belt. You know, the Nevada State Commission or whatever, they got to do their thing, and they're probably going to fine him. I hope they don't suspend him, because it's one of those things that we all know that Conor gets favoritism, a lot of it, because he's a superstar and makes them so much money. Obviously, like, people are acting like what do you expect? Like, stop being ridiculous. Let's cross into sports entertainment real quick and talk about Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is the only person that could be in the WWE and promote other things on his trunks. He could cross over to the UFC and do that. He can show up whenever he wants. His contract is extremely loose. Like, he doesn't have to defend his belt, even though it's just like, you know, it's entertainment. It's all a work. But it's like everybody else is working their ass off and he's just doing whatever. It's because he brings in so much money. He's such a draw. They let him do whatever he wants. And it can go on and on into other sport, to other sport, into other sport. So it's kind of people are being a little naive that it's like, I'm not saying it's right, but it's business. It's obvious. And it's like, all right, so, but I hope because of the stuff that has been so swept under the rug for Conor McGregor, that Khabib doesn't get the full wrath, you know, like they don't suspend him, they don't strip his belt or anything like that. I hope that he maybe just gets a hefty fine and whatever the hell else happens, and then it just kind of, they move on from there, and hopefully sometime down the road they could do a rematch, because that would be lovely to see. Obviously that would be extremely lucrative. I imagine this time around it won't be as much bad blood, because Conor, like, even talking to Dana White after the fight, he says he didn't give a shit about what went down. He said, like, he didn't even press charges about getting attacked. He's just like, he doesn't care about that. He just cares about the loss and how disappointed he is for losing, which is understandable. I mean, when you're at that level and you think you're the best, right, and then you get beaten, it happens. But that's all I really have to say about it. Overall, that was a fantastic card. That was just a great pay-per-view, one of the best pay-per-views as far as the UFC goes in a very long time. I had a great time watching it. I'm sure a lot of you guys did too. The ending was just a little bit unfortunate, and that's about it. Like, other than that, I was like, damn, that was so smooth, that was so great, that was so entertaining. But I want to know what you guys think. I want to know what you guys think about the situation. What do you guys think about Khabib and Conor? What do you think should happen to Khabib? Do you think anything should happen to him? Do you think, like, you know, they should, you know, like, who knows? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
My balls was hot.